way, I always show a video before every training we do to show the effect of VR, what it can do to you. So I will start with that and then start the presentation.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's too real.
My hands are sweaty.
That is so cool.
I'll have to go back.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, so in the next few minutes, I will take you on our journey, how we started using VR as a training method. I'm Thomas Smits. I'm an employee of Heijmans since 2014. My official title is I'm a BIM advisor within Heijmans. BIM is building information modeling. So basically that means that we start implementing 3D modeling instead of 2D drawings within AutoCAD. But what I do nowadays is I look outside of the walls of Heijmans and look for innovative ways when it comes to VR and AR, and how can we use those technologies within our company to be more effective, more efficient. Yeah, so that's what I do right now, and that's why we start using VR within the design process, but also as a training method. Short introduction about Heijmans. Heijmans is founded by Jan Heijmans in 1923. So this year we exist 100 years. So we are partying all year long. And we are a main contractor. We are a listed company, and we do activities within the infrastructural, non-residential, and housing. And we are involved at the beginning of the design process till we create the structure, the bridge, or the house, or the office, or the hospital. And we also do maintenance work. And during those phases, we try to find new solutions, better ways to be more efficient, etc. What I would like to discuss today is give you some insights how we got started with VR trainings. I will tell you something about the effect of VR and show you some examples we have right now, and also show you some numbers we are collecting from the trainings we do currently. How it started? Well, in 2019, I was at the WCS as well, talking about how we use VR within our design process. And there was a little bit different setup back then because there were 2 rooms, and in one room there were businesses talking about how they use VR. And in the other room there were like professors talking about how you can use it as a training method, and they showed their evidence what the effects were. And I was like, well, very interesting. I got inspired, got home, got into the think tank, downloaded all the presentations, and I was like, well, we need to use this as a VR training because unfortunately there are still lethal accidents within our industry. And these are not numbers from Heijmans, but these are the numbers within the Netherlands for the complete construction industry. But Heijmans has set some goals to be the example when it comes to a safety workplace for employees. So we want to bring those numbers back to 0. I got back in the Netherlands, went to our director of safety. I was like, well, I joined this conference in Frankfurt. Very interesting. I think we can be more effective, how we can make our employees more aware when it comes down to safety issues, and we can use VR for it. And he was like, well, interesting. I've in 2 weeks a moment with our board members. Can you give them a pitch and see if they're interested to give you money? So I did. The next few slides are still from the pitch I gave back then. And after the pitch, I said, well, what do you need to build one training? I said, I didn't know what it cost. I said, well, give me 20,000 euros. I give you one. It was a little less money afterwards, but I found a company in Australia who had an off-the-shelf training. But the problem in Australia is they have different safety standards than we did. So we were able to configure the training to meet our safety standards, and that was the first training. And now it was a success. And now we have a small department within our company that consists with VR trainers. We have a planner and we have VR developers. So currently we are sponsored money by the company, and we are able to investigate, create new trainings, and give the training to our employees. Well, to give you a little insight of the effect of VR, I always use this pyramid. There are different ways to learn something. You can read something, you can listen to me right now. Later we have the group discussions or the round the table discussions, and all of those things have a certain effectiveness to each other. And if you look how we try to make our employees more aware when it comes down to safety, we were always on top of this pyramid. So for example, we created posters that we are hanging in our working sheds, and we update them every month. We are sending emails to our employees. When our CEO had to present the financial numbers, he starts with safety, but those was all things that are on top of the pyramid. If you go look down what's more effective than around the table discussion, you go to practice by doing. But yeah, when it comes down to safety, you don't want your employees in an unsafe situation where there is a risk for an accident, but with VR you can. And why? Yeah, it's realistic, and it may sound weird because you're looking at a computer simulation, but if you are looking at the people that's in the video at the beginning of the presentation, they are in a computer simulation, but they are acting like they're standing on a plank on a skyscraper. And they start reacting, they got sweaty arm palms, they start cramping a little bit. So instead of thinking rationally, they start reacting emotionally at the situation. So you can use it to, they are going to experience like it's a real thing. It's safe. If they step from the plank, nothing will happen. They stand on the ground, so nothing can happen really. It's unlimited. Because it's a computer simulation, every situation that you can think of, you can create a computer simulation of, and you can use it. And also it's unlimited in a way that you can repeat the training multiple times. It's easier, it costs less to repeat the training over and over again. And the fourth reason, there's no distraction. We are a certified company. That means we have to organize 10 toolboxes each year. Basically, that's a round the table discussion on our construction site with the frontman. The frontman is responsible for organizing these toolbox meetings with his employees on the construction site. But the quality of that meeting is, depending on how much time does the frontman take to prepare this meeting, and what is, someone can make a joke during the meeting and the whole subject goes about what someone did that weekend instead of talking about the subject of the safety matters. So if you put a VR headset on, you are in the training, you cannot be distracted from this topic you want to discuss. We do use two different ways for VR trainings. We have story-based training modules. Those are generic. Those are those trainings we can use within the whole company. So for the infrastructure, for the housing, and for the non-residential employees. And we have static VR. And static VR is more for our project-specific risk. And I will start with that one. Like I said in the beginning, I was a BIM advisor. For every building we create right now, we create a 3D BIM model. In some way, it's like a very, it's some kind of digital twin, but it's not smart. So you don't get censored, but you have like this scale 1-on-1 digital twin of the construction you're going to create outside. But what we did was in the past is that we created this 3D model of the end situation of the building. And during those years, we start also creating the temporary situation within the 3D model. For example, the construction site. And it helped us not just to get a better construction site because you can clash the 3D objects with each other, but it was also a way to communicate better with our clients because they understand a 3D picture and it's harder for them to understand a technical 2D drawing of a construction site. But what we experienced over the years is, for us, it's getting harder to find companies that can construct certain things during the construction phase. So we have a hard time finding parties that can create concrete floors for us. And we try to find them in the Netherlands. They are not there anymore. So we have to look through whole Europe. But the problem is they have different safety standards. So what we did to get in control of those risks, we start modeling more temporary situations within the construction site. So temporary hulp constructions that are needed to create concrete floors. And because we model them in the 3D model, we can show them in VR, and we show them from different phases, and then we go in VR with the employees of the construction company, and we show them, hey, if you are going in this situation and you find this situation outside, you have to do certain safety measures. So instead, in this example, there's no fall protection in place, and there's a little wire between those two columns. In that case, the employee has to secure himself to the wire so he can fall from the platform. In another phase, the fall protection is modeled, and then he doesn't have to do the fall protection anymore, because if he falls, there is a fall protection. There are different ways we can do it one-on-one. So one guy has a VR headset on and someone talks him through, but it's also possible if we downscale the quality of the model, we can get more people into the model, and then there's like a virtual leader that's gonna explain to them what they have to do in different phases of the construction. Like I said, this is very project specific. We also have story-based virtual models. The big difference is the story-based modules, they are interactive, and the static VR models, you can, there's no interaction. You can only explain what they have to do, but you can't train specific handlings for them. What we do with the story-based VR modules, if we find a subject that we want to create a story-based VR module for, we go outside, find the experts that are working outside, and we know they are the experts for the specific subject. We get them inside in a group in the office. We get a safety specialist with them, and then we try to find what is the correct procedure when it comes down to the specific subject. They start writing it down on post-its. Eventually, we're going to group all those procedures, and then we start creating like an application flow, so we can create a storyline with all the procedures in it. Then we're going to create like a virtual generic construction site, and eventually we have a generic construction site that we can use in VR. We also tried, it's like I said, it costs a lot, because you have to create like a game. So we were going to experience if we were able to create VR experience from a point cloud, because we have point cloud scanners, we use them, and we think, hey, can we use it to create a point cloud, and let that be the environment where we do the VR training in. But it's very hard for us to, you need a big computer to run the VR training in the point cloud, and the other training modules where we have this virtual generic construction site, you can run it on a headset alone. You can run it standalone on the MetaQuest, for example. So our mission is to more do the standalone VR trainings instead of bring a complete computer to the construction site. And currently, we are developing, these are the last training modules we developed. We have an attaching loads training and an excavation damage prevention training. For the last one, that costs 50,000 euros as well. But if we can prevent one damage in the site, it saves us 50,000 euros, because if we have damage pipes within the ground during our work, we get a fine between 50,000 and 100,000 euros. So if we prevent one training, if we prevent one damage, we have the training back, and from the second prevention, we start saving money. What we also did was create this portal for our employees, for our frontmen, because they are responsible for the toolbox meetings. So to make it very easy for them to ask us to come to their construction site to give a VR training. So we created this portal where they can just fill in, hey, this is a small portion of a library. We come to your construction site, choose a toolbox meeting you want to be held on your construction site, and we come to your construction site to give the VR training. And this is what it looks like. And what I like about this picture is even the young and older employees are able to complete the training. So in our experience, there's no one who's ever got stuck anywhere within the training. So even the young and the older guys are able to complete the training by themselves. And if they get stuck, we are there to help them through the training, because we can also we stream the we stream the training to a screen, so we can see what they see. So if they get stuck, we assist them to get through the training. And a big like I said in the previous presentation, you can make mistakes in VR and nothing happens. So I'm going to show a video of an employee who's riding in a cherry picker. He's going to ride over bumpy road, and what happens in the cherry picker, you get a slingshot effect, and we did it in the training. And if the employee rides over this terrain, yeah, he experienced what can happen, and he started reacting physically to the situation. We didn't know it was this extreme. So in this case, there's a pole standing next to him that he almost hit it. So the fun thing, this is how we're standing back to the employee who's doing the VR training. And this is my last slide. These are the numbers right now. Currently, we have 1,400 employees who did the VR training. After the VR training, we also asked them, how did you find it? Does it help you to make you safe, to work more safely? Do you want more like more of this VR training? And what subjects do you want to be, of what subjects do you want a VR training in? So based on this, we can create new VR training modules. And for our VR director, for our safety director, for him, it's very important that almost 90% says it helped me to work more safely. Maybe a last takeaway that I want to give to you. I believe it's not only the VR training that's important to give to the employees, because, like I said, we go to the construction site ourselves, and we do the introduction. We get them involved. We explain them why do we use VR training. We give them a little introduction how they have to work with the controllers. Then they use the VR training module itself, and afterwards we have a conversation with them. So it's the complete thing for introduction, VR training, and the conversation afterwards that works very well instead of just doing the VR training alone. Yeah, that was my presentation.